You've spent a lifetime battling monsters and men.
How is it to come in the franchise in the middle and feel somebody else's shoes, to become a character, a hero that people know from the previous seasons and try to make it as himself?
I was really excited to come on board. When they first approached me, I was a little hesitant and I had some concerns about stepping into it. But after speaking with the writers and the showrunner and just generally about the arc and the place that Geralt is at when I would pick up the story, I was really intrigued by this part of his journey and the emotional state that he was in and the various changes that he's sort of going through at this point. It's a unique situation, but I'm a fan of this character and of this world, and I was definitely aware of the passion from fans about this world and these characters, and I wouldn't have done it unless I felt strongly about this character and about being able to bring something to the table that I thought was worthwhile telling and being a part of.
Were you a little bit stressed when you first went to the set, put on the gear, the long white hair?
Yeah, I had like 3 months of pre-production before I started shooting. And we did a lot of rehearsals, and I was at the studio 5 days a week doing stunt training and strength training and rehearsals and meeting everyone, and the cast was incredibly welcoming and kind and offered nothing but support for me coming into this family. And by the time I stepped on set, I was feeling really good about it, and I felt like I had enough time to really dig into this character and understand where he's at emotionally and the direction that he was trying to head. So by the time I stepped on set, I was feeling really good about it.
So tell me about the training, especially sword fighting, because it's the main thing for The Witcher. So how was it to grasp all the moves and to make it real intense?
Yeah, I was told by our martial arts sword fighting expert that in the first week that we were doing sword fighting training, and I've never been taught specific sword fighting training. I've messed around a lot with it in my free time, but had never been taught specific sword movements and whatnot. But I was told by our teacher that I was picking it up pretty quickly. But even with that, it still took many hours of fine-tuning those movements and constantly drilling different choreographed scenes so that they felt comfortable. And some of the scenes that I shot were with humans, where I'm fighting a bunch of humans or stunt guys, and that requires a different level of choreography and timing, because you have to be in sync with those other partners that you're working with. And then other times I was doing choreography with monsters and things that weren't actually there on the day. We might do 1 or 2 takes with a stunt guy that's in a green suit that sort of gives you the basic layout of it. But before that, I've obviously learnt the scene. And then they would go away, and then we'd do the real shot where it was just me doing it on my own. And at first that was a little daunting, but then it was actually kind of freeing, because you could swing harder, you could hit harder, you didn't have to worry about timing with another person. And I ended up enjoying those scenes. But at first it was, and that was actually one of my first days that I shot on. I think it was my actual first day that I shot on set, was fighting a bunch of kikimoras and baby kikimora monsters, and it's kind of daunting turning up and you don't have other actors to lean on or anything really. You have to know the choreography well enough to literally, all right, roll camera, and it's a one-man show. It's a one-man stand-up show, and you got to make that scene work. And
you're standing in the mud because, as I understand, it was a very muddy set. So,
yeah, it was quite muddy and swampy, and yeah.
And also, I want to ask you, how do you know The Witcher? Did you see the previous seasons? Are you a player? Did you read the books? How did you prepare for the show?
When they first approached me, I'd played the video game about 8 years ago or something, and I loved the video game. I spent many hours playing it, and anyone that's played that game knows how many hours you got to put into that world, and I really enjoyed it, and I was a big fan of that world. And I'd seen a little bit of the show, but then once they approached me, I really dug into it and had a look at it, and then read the books, and now I was really intrigued by the whole world. I think there's some really complex characters, and just an incredible backdrop to explore for actors. And after watching the show, I was really impressed by the other actors that had put so much work into it. And when I came on board, I was really blown away by how much everyone cared about their characters and the world, and there was a real passion behind it all, and everyone was incredibly welcoming and kind, and offered nothing but support for me coming into this.
Did you talk with Henry when you were taking this part, or you just built it with yourself?
We did like a handover over social media at that time, and since then I've spoken to him, and we had a conversation just about his experience playing this character and my experience playing this character, and I'm such a big fan of Henry's, and I'm a huge fan of what he did as this character, and he's been incredibly supportive about it, and Henry's a great guy. I'm a huge fan of his.
And Liam, did you have an opportunity also to meet Andrzej Sapkowski, the writer of the book? Because I know that he was on the set previously, so I'm curious, did he visit you as well?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I met him on set whilst we were shooting at one point, and he's lovely. We had a chat about the situation and what he'd seen, and he was incredibly supportive and said some lovely things, and it was really cool to meet him.